Okay, first session over and done with, and didn't all go to plan. The car seems to be running great. There's a slight issue between third and fourth gear, but the team are just working on that now. It should be a simple calibration change, and it should be all good to go. It's very hot here though, which really is making our temperatures, especially air charge temperature, very, very high. And so what that basically means is that I can't run at full throttle for more than one lap without then needing to do a cool down lap. So that's what I'm having to do. Do a hot lap, do a cool down lap, do a hot lap, do a cool down lap. Come into the pits, check all the pressures, drop them down a bit, go back out and repeat. Unfortunately in that one though, I only managed to get two hot laps in the session. About a second and a half slower than what I want to be. But I haven't driven around here for 2 years now. I've managed 2 hot laps and I'm second in class. So it's not too bad. I might sound like I'm disappointed, but it's really not too bad. Hopefully during the rest of the day we can start to push it on a bit more and beat that guy. That's in the 650 horsepower Skyline. Absolute monster. 1.5 seconds up the road from me, but we'll do our best to catch him.
The car is going to Parc Ferme. The results then get confirmed, and the championship points then get awarded, which is what we are all about. Of course, we're also here to have a good time. But the drivers, Ben Robinson said it best. He is here to win. He is not here to make up the numbers in that Noble M12. You can see that Noble M12 is right at the front of the queue. He is keen to get out first, get out onto that empty track with no traffic in front of him, and set that fast lap again. If I remember correctly, he was fastest in class in qualifying, and he is going to be aiming to be fastest in the final as well, exactly like he said to Natalie. You know, by his own admission, Susie, by his own admission, it was big-headed, perhaps. That's, you know, in his own words. But look, he is here to win. He is here to win. And at the end of the day, if you're competing in motorsport, that's what you do. You know, you arrive to win, to make the podium, and so on. Ben Robinson then at the front of that queue, keen as ever to go out on track and just enjoy some of that clean air and that clean track space. So there you go. Ben Robinson's Noble M12 then. You can see those lime green, fluorescent green gloves eagerly gripping that steering wheel as he heads out on track. There we go. The green flag is out. Phil Reed coming out of the garage in that Nismo GT3. Just behind him then is the other machine, the number 17 car of, where has it gone? Steve Reed. There we go. In the Mitsubishi Evo 8. You know, I've never actually known, but I presume these two Reeds are related, especially if they're sharing a garage. Somebody could fill me in. That's a pretty critical piece of information that I have missed out. Here we go. Philip Montgomery then saying I've won him over. Well, thank you very much. Diane Johnston saying shout out to Zest EU. Better luck next time. Michael Louise there with a Louise with a little bear emoji. That's pretty cute. Simon Cornish saying well done, Butler, Mike Butler there in that BMW M3. John Roebuck, all about GR performance. Good luck, boys. Tina Marshall saying come on, Team Pittman. Matt and Kim Newing. Matt Newing saying, go, go, go. Team JDS, go, go, go. Pull right. So there you go. Everyone lining up those comments. Thank you very much. Absolutely get involved. I'm going to be trying to pay a little bit more attention to the actual track action for now. So do apologize if I can't get round to everybody's comment, but I'm sure you'll understand. But by all means, don't let that put you off. Please do get in. Please do get stuck in. Come on, Gary Plant, says Claire Gibson there. Gary Plant, of course, in that GR Performance Mitsubishi Evo 5. And here we go then. Phil Reed is perhaps one of the ones to watch. Very, very fast in this GT3 machine. That GT sports car and prototype class machine. Class of 2 today. Phil Reed in the Nissan Nismo and Steve Henson in the Porsche 996 GT3 Cup. There we go, Phil Reed then coming into that treacherous and notorious island bend. Here we go, manages to keep it pretty clean. You can just see it wobbling around and a little bit of a fishtail coming out the other side. So even for a purpose-built race car, even that gets unsettled by island bend. It is truly a real treacherous challenge. Craig Lack saying that Nismo GTR, wow, looks like a weapon. Absolutely. It is such a weapon. I mean, a weapon doesn't even come close. And you could just see even that was moving around a little bit coming into Island Bend. Here we go then, Phil Reed just making himself a little bit of room, working his way through some of the traffic. His headlights are on. He is on a hot lap, green flag being waved, so presumably a section there possibly was under yellows briefly, but they are now back under green flag conditions. Phil Reed then coming up and over Deer Leap, and onto the start-finish straight, making his way past the machine of Colin Dorward, I believe that is. Colin Dorward. Oh, we've got a car off the track. That is Andy Hughes, I think, in the number 59 X-Shift Subaru Impreza. You can see it's kind of made an effort to get off the track, but it seems beached somehow. You can see a little bit of a wobble there as the car tried to move, but something's holding it back. Oh, you can see some damage there to that fender, just dangling there. So some kind of impact there, possibly. Red flag is out. Here we go, you can see that Marshall just unrolling that red flag. That car there, the car of Andy Hughes, is not parked in a good spot.
Okay, so we've just finished qualifying, and what lap that was, by the way, 1:31.4. So well below our target time. Not quite where the lap record is, still about a second off that. Maybe if we had some brand new tyres and it wasn't quite as hot, we might get there, but I don't think we're quite going to do that today. But overall, really happy with it. Spooks, we were ahead of them by about 2 seconds or so. They were very close though with Ren, which will come up on very shortly, who is, to be honest, the main competition for today. I'm feeling much better now because, well, when you win and you feel better, don't you? What we do need to do though is to replicate that in the final, because that's where all the points really matter. If we can do that, then that skyline down there will be beating it, and that's a big car to beat.
And here we go. So Matt Ewing, then the number 22 machine, right at the front of that queue. Those headlights never went off. His outlap is already a hot lap. Everyone then filing back onto the circuit. Alton Park. Here we go. So the comments here, some of them I won't even read out. But as expected, quite a few drivers taking the bait of Josef Kalea. He's really thrown the fox among the hens with those issuing those challenges. Hopefully that means we'll see another shootout in the near future for some lap records. That's what Time Attack needs. We need that competition. We need that speed. We need those big names back. The more the merrier, right? In fact, we've got a really chunky entry list here at Alton Park. I think it's like in the high 80s in terms of, you know, they're divided up between the 3 sessions, but like 80-something, 87 cars maybe? That is a lot. But let's not have it stop there. Let's just keep going. Josef Kalea, get back here, defend your titles. Those other old guys of Time Attack, look, you want to set some new titles, set some new records, absolutely jump in. Let's just get stuck in, everybody. Just like you can see the drivers on your screens right now getting stuck in. That's quite a little pack there forming Matt Ewing then just at the back of that little queue. And actually, there we go, we've got the blue Evo just behind him as well. His fellow Phil Reed around then as he comes past Alton Lake. Breaking through that treacherous downhill bumpy braking zone into Island Bend. Just behind him then is the machine of Paul Doyle. And Paul Wright and Paul Doyle, both in Subaru Imprezas. Anyway, the guy I was talking about in the Subaru Impreza P1 is Paul Wright. Hopefully that is what I said. But when you're trying to talk at 1,000 miles an hour, sometimes you get the names mixed up. Some of my colleagues will know. And I did just call this track Cadwell Park. So yeah, just do forgive me. This is just, you know, if you can't accept me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best, as the internet posts would have you, as the Karen internet memes would have you believe. That's me, that's me. Anyway, here we go. Let's have a look at Ben Robinson then in that Noble. Phil Reed goes fastest of all with a 123.0 with an average speed of 96.47 miles per hour. Very quick around Alton Park today, but let's have a look at Ben Robinson in that Noble M12 in Club Pro 2-wheel drive. Quite a battle developing there between, we've got Ben Robinson, we've got Darren Spooner, we've got Brent Simpson, so it's quite a competitive class there. Ben Robinson using loads of curb on the exit of Island there. Just trying to maximize that grip, trying to straighten out his steering wheel as early as possible, taking a nice, safe, oh, there we go, I said nice, safe line. He's just spun off the track. Oh, dear. There you go, manages to keep it going, keep things tidy, rejoins the track pretty cleanly. So there we go. Ben Robinson doing that wonderful 360. Here we go then, so let's have a look at some of these all-wheel drive machines. So we've got the number 100 car of Gary Hayward, the AP Tuning Mitsubishi Evo 7 ahead of Phil Reed's car, ahead of Paul Doyle's BC Racing Subaru Impreza, running tail to tail. Phil Reed currently looking significantly faster than, well, everyone else. Paul Doyle is currently second fastest overall, leading Pro Extreme. But even he is 4.4 seconds drift of Phil Reed in that Nismo GT3. So he is just trying to make his way through that traffic is Phil Reed. And you can see just ahead of him then the car of Gary Hayward, the AP Tuning Mitsubishi Evo 7. Here we go, coming into Island Bend then, a corner where we've seen so many drivers make mistakes. I wouldn't even call them mistakes. I do feel like Island Bend is a bit of a lottery. It's just, it is so uneven and so easy to lose your car there, whether you're locking up and sailing past the braking point, whether you're spinning out under braking, all kinds of shenanigans happen at Island. But all three of these drivers making it through nice and safe. So here we go, then another pit lane shot. We've got Ben Robinson here just feeding back something to one of his crew. And as promised earlier on to Fala Khalid, not a great deal happens when the drivers come into the pit lane, and you've seen that just now. So Ben Robinson having a chat with one of his crew, perhaps taking a look at the lug nuts, maybe doing some tire pressures and calling it a day, heading back out on track. 9 minutes of this session remaining. Let's have a look at Steve Henson then, behind Colin Dorward in the 151 machine, that track Formula Mitsubishi Evo 9. And the two mean green machines there. I didn't quite understand where that Evo came from. I thought Steve Henson was just behind Colin Dorward there, but that Evo clearly carrying some serious pace. That's the number 57 machine of Stuart Sims, the GR Performance Mitsubishi Evo 6. Roman Grandel then in number 333, just again stopping off in the pit lane, having a chat to his colleagues, to his crew there. Again, not much in the way of work happening there. Oh my goodness, that is quite trafficy there, coming into the chicane at Hislips. A whole bunch of drivers all grouped together. Oh my goodness, look at that. And of course, navigating that traffic, negotiating your way through the field, finding yourself some clean track space, that is all part of the time attack game. If you just wanted to go and set quick lap times on your own, then there are other events that will accommodate you. The whole point of time attack is you're trying to do it while everyone else is trying to do it as well. So of course, finding yourself that track position is key here in time attack. And especially as you move up the classes, you'll find that drivers will even have comms with their teams, telling them about track position, telling them even about telemetry, giving them feedback on their driving, on their lines, on their, their various inputs, and also looking at the map, the live map of where cars are in relation to each other, so that they can work out when to perhaps bring a car into the pit lane to release it onto some free track. So that's really a key part of the time attack challenge. You can see Jeff Kershaw getting caught up in the midst of all of these super speedy guys there. Again, let's have a look at Ireland. Phil Reed keeping it tidy. Little bit of a luck up there from the machine of Paul Doyle, the BC Racing Super Impreza. Everyone else keeping it pretty clean. Let's have a look at some of these lap times then. Phil Reed still leads the field to the 123.0. Behind him then, Gary Hayward in the number 100 Pro four-wheel drive Mitsubishi Evo 7 with a 126.7. So there we go, 3.6 seconds drift of Phil Reed. Paul Doyle leading Pro Extreme class, third fastest overall with a 127.1 in that Subaru Impreza, the BC Racing machine. And we've got a little bit of a change here. So then we have Ian Pittman setting a personal best, jumping up 4 positions to take 5th overall and first fastest in Club Pro. Four-wheel drive is Ian Pittman with a 131.4. Very quick indeed there from Ian Pittman, setting personal bests in all sectors, pretty much all the speed traps as well. So it's a great performance there from Ian Pittman in the closing minutes of this session. We've got, I guess, around a quarter, a third of the session left. So really, now is action time. Now is the time to put in all that knowledge, all that experience from the days running. This is the time to put in those laps. So let's see that. Here's Paul Doyle, again, keeping it pretty tidy through Ireland, as is Gary Hayward in the AP Tuning Mitsubishi Evo 7. There we go. Up the hill they go, and now into the chicane. Hislips. We've seen a few drivers get crossed up here as well. Paul Doyle making his way around the traffic there. Hislips, another corner that's pretty easy to get crossed up in. Again, featuring that tricky downhill bumpy braking zone, but crucially to a speed that's not quite as low, so perhaps the car isn't quite as unsettled. Roman Grandel then, we saw him stopped outside his garage a little while ago, looking like a retirement from him as he's pushed back into the garage. Of course, this isn't racing per se. You don't need to be out for the whole time. So if you set a lap that you're happy with, or even if you set some laps and break down halfway through the session, your result still counts. You don't need to do every single lap and bring the car home. You can actually go out, do one lap, and either be happy with your performance or perhaps, break down or whatever, and your lap time is still going to count. Your result is still going to be classified. So that's a key difference here in time attack, is you don't actually need to run the whole session to be classified as a finisher. So let's have a look then at the number 88 machine of Andrew Barber, AKB Racing, Mitsubishi Evo 9. You saw him speaking a little bit earlier to Susie Wallace in the pit lane. Again, making that huge trip from Scotland every single round of time attack, albeit not quite as long a trip here to Alton Park as it is, say, to Brands Hatch, which is just a phenomenal slog. Matt Ewing then in the number 22 machine. Let's see where he is right now. Matt Ewing, 7th fastest overall, 3rd fastest in in Class Pro four-wheel drive with a 131.6. So actually, a lot of drivers here lapping in the 131s. Super close between those particular guys. But really, Phil Reed in a class of his own with a 123.0. Currently in the pits, he's done the lap times. Here we go, we've got a car stopped out on track that looks like perhaps Hislop's. One of those tricky braking zones where you can miss the chicane and need to take the escape route, and that car just stopped out there. And you can see it just rolling to a halt. So perhaps a mechanical failure of some description there for Gary Hayward in that AP tuning machine. There we go, Matt Newing entering your screens at quite some pace. Really going for it, headlights on, makes his way around Paul Doyle's BC Racing Subaru Impreza. Really throwing that thing around. Again, the checkered flag is out early, because reasons. And let's have a look then at our finishing order. Checkered flag is now out. There we go, Matt Newing then riding past that checkered flag. Let's take a look at our results then. Phil Reed then fastest overall with a 123.0. And then we have Gary Hayward stopped out on track, but actually the fastest in class, second fastest overall with a 126.7, so 3.6 seconds adrift from Phil Reed. Then we have Paul Doyle in that Subaru Impreza with a 127, Andrew Barber with a 128.0, Ian Pittman in the Subaru Impreza Type R with a 130.0, Chris Cherry with a 131.5, Matt Newing with a 131.6, Ben Robinson with a 131.67, Steve Reed with a 131.7. So as I mentioned, a lot of drivers in these 131s. Then we have, let's take a look. Then we have 10th fastest overall and 3rd fastest in class is Gary Plant in that GR Performance Mitsubishi Evo 5. Then we have Colin Dorward in the Track Formula Mitsubishi Evo 9. Darren Spooner, 12th fastest overall, 2nd fastest in Club Pro 2-wheel drive, behind Ben Robinson. So actually Ben Robinson, they're saying to Susie earlier on, he is here to win, and win he has. So great work there for Ben Robinson in that Noble M12. Darren Spooner then 2nd in Club Pro 2-wheel drive, 12th fastest overall. Then we have Bren Simpson in the Nissan Skyline V8, 13th fastest overall, 3rd fastest in class. Then we have Stuart Sims in the Mitsubishi Evo 6, Paul Wright in the Subaru Impreza P1, Steve Henson in the Porsche 996 GT3 Cup, Jeff Kershaw in that Ford Focus, Roman Grandel in the Audi S3, and then Andy Hughes in the Subaru Impreza, not having managed to set a timed lap in this session. There you go, that's the number 57 car. Stuart Sims, GR Performance Mitsubishi Evo 6. There you go, those results on your screen now. Ben Robinson there winning Club Pro 2-wheel drive. Great effort there from him in that Noble M12. Again, saying he's going to win and actually then winning is, that's pretty commendable.
So, there we go. End of the day here at Outlon Park, and as you can see, we've done pretty well. Team really pulled through, Bourne's been brilliant. Got first place again, that's 3 times in a row for us now. We're definitely the ones to beat anyway. Time-wise, we did pretty well. The car performed faultlessly, and now we're actually chasing the guys with the slick tyres on it, which is really something considering we're just running road tyres. But next outing for us will probably be Donington. If you want to check back in a few weeks' time, catch up with us there, see if we can do the same again.